Awesome. Well, today will be for those that are on time.
It's the 9:05 class.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It doesn't look like we're going to be live on social today, but that's okay. Whether you are watching us live or you are on the recording, we've got a lot to cover today. I'm gonna move quickly because I want to give you guys a few announcements that I think we kind of had a chance to cover a little bit yesterday, but I really wanted to bring a couple of those items home with this group and share a little bit of how it's going to affect our schedule, right, for November as we go into this new month. And then I want to talk about what Fridays are about, right? We do follow-up in Facebook. Today we're going to talk a little bit about follow-up, because I think as we go into November, there's a really unique opportunity that gets presented to us when we're talking with our network, our sphere of influence. For anybody that's had any type of call reluctance, this is the perfect month to get everything in order as it relates to really, just getting back in touch with our database and doing it in a way that can feel very non-salesy, right? And allows us to update all of our information, to get everyone into the database. It's also the time that we want to be top of mind with all of our clients. Right? I don't know about you guys. What happens during the holidays? What do you guys do? Right? I know if you're anything like me and my family, we get together, right? We cook, and even though those gatherings might be a little bit smaller this year, what I know is my family is already intending to figure out, okay, how are we going to do dinners and how big are they going to be, right? For Thanksgiving and for the holidays. Generally for Christmas Eve, a lot of my family gets together, and that's probably unlikely this year, but we'll still get together on platforms like Zoom, right? To still be able to have the opportunity to see each other, to interact with each other, and to still be able to gather in a way that just allows us to connect. And we know that anytime families gather, they have conversations about major things that are going on in the world now, and that are going on in their lives. So they'll probably talk about the pandemic, right? They'll probably talk about politics, because that's coming up right around the corner. And if they're looking at making any type of move, or if they're experiencing any type of hardship, they're probably going to talk about real estate and finances. That comes up, right? Whether somebody's talking about I'm having a hard time with my job, or I'm looking for what that next thing is for me, or I need to start making sure that I'm ready to make payments, or I don't know what the new year is going to hold, but this is one of the things that I'm concerned about. Those conversations happen around the dinner tables, and that's the biggest opportunity that we really have, right? To be able to make those connections and make sure that we're top of mind, so that it's us who's being referred as the expert of choice if somebody needs a little bit of a helping hand and needs a little bit of that support, right? So I have a little card that I keep on my desk. And there's two reasons that I keep this card on my desk. One, it's on my vision board. I want a matte black Ford Bronco, right? The second reason that I keep this little card in my desk is as a reminder of Ford, right? Ford, not Ford, the car brand, right? But Ford as our family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. If you have not talked to the people in your database, or maybe you have, and right now is that time to kind of reconnect with them, that conversation, when we're going through Ford, you want to go through those 4 quadrants. What does that look like? Especially if it's somebody in your sphere of influence or in your network. Well, Ford family is, hey, wanted to call and see how your family's doing. I wanted to call and see how the family is doing and how everybody's going, right? If it's occupation, if it's it might be, how's working from home going? Or are you still working from home, right? That's an occupation question. We want to go into recreation. Well, recreation is a good one right now. What are you planning on doing for the holidays? What are you planning on doing for the holidays? Right? Are you going to be getting together with your family? And dreams, what are your hopes for the new year? Right? Different questions. We go through FORD, but we can change up the questions as we go along and have those conversations with our clients, with the people that are in our network. And it allows us to build a deeper level of rapport. Here's where things get a little bit different. A couple of the items that we know we need to make sure that we have in our database, we need to update their address, right? If we're on the phone with them, then we know we have their phone number, but we might need to get an updated email address, right? And we want to get their updated address. Hey, by the way, I'm going to be sending out holiday cards this year. Would it be, do you still live at 123 Main Street? Right? Is that still the best address for you? I want to make sure that I get a chance to send you a holiday card this year, right? This is a great time to get those addresses updated. Once you get that, right? Once you get that, by the way, you know, I'm curious, what are your real estate plans next year? I'm on a mission to help as many families as I can. And I'm just curious if there's any way that I could be of support for you, right? Are there any questions that I can answer? Third-party scripting. So third-party scripting is what we call it when we reference somebody else and give them the opportunity to kind of open up to the conversation. So what that looks like is this. It's, you know, a lot of my clients right now, I've just been really concerned because a lot of my clients are calling and they're asking me, what do they do if they are having trouble with their mortgage, or if it's a landlord? What do they do if their tenants are struggling to pay rents right now, right? Or if they're a renter, they're concerned and asking what's happening with this moratorium. Do you know anybody that's having those same concerns, right? Is all of a sudden we've opened the door and said that there's a third party that we're seeing that concern around. By the way, is there anybody that they know that might need some help answering those questions? That lowers the defenses a little bit, right? It lowers the defenses. Instead of asking somebody straight out, hey, are you struggling to pay your mortgage? Right? That heightens the defenses. All of a sudden somebody goes on a little bit of that offense. They're like, whoa, that was a really personal question, right? Finances and money can be a really personal question. And so when we guide it with, you know, one of the things that's just really concerning for me right now is I have a lot of my clients that are concerned about what's going to happen next year as these foreclosure and eviction moratoriums are lifted. And I really want to be able to answer any questions that anyone has about that. Do you know anyone that's struggling with that I could be a resource for? And all of a sudden they're like, well, you know what? I'm having a little bit of a hard time right now. Right? I'm having a little bit of a challenge. And what do you know about what's going on with the moratoriums? Right? It can be a little bit more of a solemn conversation. That's why we want to get the rapport building at the front of the conversation, right? We want to get any updates that we need, and then we can take it there, right? And then we can take it there. It's a little bit of a longer conversation. But here's the thing: is we have to build those relationships with the people that are already in our network, right? We have to be the most effective and efficient possible. We could go out and I hear it all the time. Agents that are like, you know, I'm hitting the phones all day and I'm not moving anybody forward. And yet they haven't hit their own sphere of influence and they haven't talked to the people in their network. What we know to be true, what the lead generation model says, right, is we get a higher rate of return on the people that know us, like us, and trust us, the Mets. And when I say somebody is a Met, right, and somebody is truly someone that's in our database, this confuses a lot of people because a lot of people were like, oh, well, I met them at that open house that one time, so they're a Met. No. Yes, you met them, but they're not a true contact. They're not a true person of your database. If I couldn't call on your behalf and say, hey, Claudia asked me to give you a call, or Esther asked me to give you a call just to check in and see how you're doing. And they don't automatically know who you are. Right? Now, I know, as an example, right, people in my family that I have a really close relationship with, they wouldn't trip if I had somebody call them and say, hey, you know, Monica asked me to give you a call. She just wanted to check to see, you know, we wanted to get your updated information, or we wanted to do this, that, or the other, right? Certain people in my network that I have that relationship with, but I also have people that are more acquaintances. And what would happen? I have somebody else call and they're like, Monica who? Which Monica? Monica from where? Right? Guess what? That's not a true person in our database that's going to give us that level of return. That means the relationship you have is not deep enough yet, right? It's not deep enough yet. That also comes in with leverage, right? In adding leverage to our business. We cannot give up the lead generation follow-up component of our process until we have that deep of a relationship. Right? Until we have that deep of a relationship, then we can bring in a third party to maybe make some calls for us, right? But we're not going to get that same level of return if we don't have that deep relationship with them. So right now is the time to be able to do that and really deepen it and build it at that high level. And right now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, right? We're going into a holiday season where people usually what happens during the holidays, people spend more money. Right? They spend more money. That might not happen this year, right? We're having leaner holidays because more people are in a state where they're saving money for the uncertainty that may be coming in their life right now, right? That's important for us to just have that awareness around. Is we have to have these conversations, because as we get to the new year, this is where people start thinking, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next year? What's going to happen when this moratorium lifts? What's going to happen when the eviction moratorium lifts? What happens next? And you want to be the resource that they reach out to. And then as they're sitting around the holiday table, that they refer to their family and friends, or the holiday Zoom, right? Or the holiday Zoom, but that they refer to their family and friends. So those phone calls are more crucial for your network than ever before. That's how we increase our efficiency. So I hope that's helpful right now with the holidays. I see in the chat, I love it. Thanksgiving cards, right? Thanksgiving cards are also available at Dollar Tree, or you can use some of the designs on command. Yes, we want to make sure too that we're consistently posting on social media, right? It's getting colder. It's getting colder, right? So what happens? People stay inside and they're on their phones a lot more when it's colder, especially during a pandemic when all of the restaurants, for the most part, are outdoor seating, right? It's different. The world's different right now. So the more time people spend indoors, the more time they have to scroll on their phones. Are you showing up on their social media? Are you doing video? Are you doing posting regularly? Are you consistently top of mind? Are you the Coca-Cola of soda? Are you the Starbucks or Portos, right, of coffee, right? Are you really showing up in their world again and again and again to remind them, right? To remind them of what they need to know, to remind them that you're that resource that's there for them, to remind them that you're there to support during that holidays. That's going to be huge, you guys. That's going to be so huge, right? Is making those phone calls, going through Ford, right? Going through Ford, and then making sure that you're updating addresses. And here's the thing, if you update their address and then you don't send them a card, then we have a problem, right? Follow-up. Fortunate in the follow-up. We also want to make sure that we're consistent to our word with our clients. So if you're updating that address, you also want to make sure that you're sending them that item of value that you said you were going to send, right? Whatever that might be. That's going to be huge. So with that, a couple of big updates, right? A couple of big updates. We said a couple of them yesterday, and I really want to drive them home for you guys today. A couple of the new programs, we're going to have a lot of details coming out, but it also, our schedule is going to change up a little bit, right? Our schedule is going to change up a little bit. So I wanted to share what that's going to look like with you guys. We have a business planning clinic, a second business planning clinic. It's going to be 2 days, 2 parts. It's going to be November 11th and November 12th from 9 to noon, right? From 9 to noon. If you have not finalized your business plan, or you need a little bit of a refresher and you're like, I have my business plan and I want to review it a little bit, I want to tweak it a little bit, that's going to be a great session with a great instructor. It's going to be Heath Hilgenberg. It's going to be a phenomenal instructor, right, for that course. The next piece. So we mentioned that our productivity coaching program is expanding, right? That means that we have additional training that's going to be on the calendar. If you would like to audit some of that, you can. Mondays is going to be mindset, scripts, and role play, right? Tuesdays is going to be working with buyers. Wednesdays is working with sellers. And Thursday is follow-up and command. For those that are enrolled in the program, you will be getting, if you're already enrolled, you'll be getting some onboarding emails around it. There's 2 parts. There's the full-time part, Monday through Thursday, 2 hours of curriculum every day, real play, right? Real play, as well as an accountability component where you will be assigned homework to build the momentum in your business and kind of get those pieces set up, as well as then accountability sessions with Brandy, right? The part-time program is going to be a little bit different. We know that if you're part-time, you might not have the same hours in a day that a full-time person has to spend 2 hours Monday through Thursday on training and then still go do your prospecting, right? And still go do your prospecting. So with that, there will be dripping out content to you, right? For the part-timers, it's going to be dripped out a little bit slower, right? So that you can stay up to date with it. There'll still be homework, but that homework is going to be designed for running your business part-time, right? So a little bit different. That's going to be for those agents that are in productivity coaching, or if you know anybody that would like to enroll, if you'd like to audit those classes, definitely let us know. We can talk to you about how to get involved in that program. The next one is going to be Ignite, right? This is Ignite like we've not seen it before. This is not the original Ignite. So if you took the original Ignite, guess what? Ignite was completely rewritten in the past couple years. It is now called Ignite Spark, right? It's called Ignite Spark. It starts Monday, right? It starts Monday. It's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, with the exception of 1 week where there's going to be a Tuesday class specifically because of the business planning clinic, right? So the sessions are adjusted a little bit that week. The instructors are phenomenal, right? We've got some phenomenal instructors. In fact, the instructor for this Monday's session is Brady Sandall. To tell you a little bit about Brady Sandall, he's closed over 700. I see Claudia's like, woo, yeah, right? He's closed over 750 transactions, over $250 million of sales in the desert, right? In the desert, you guys. We worry about, working in an area where we have so many transactions, and he's been the #1 market share in the desert, right? And truly built up a big, massive business out there. So we're really excited. He's done several HGTV shows, including National Open House, What You Get for the Money, right? He's the #1 team, I think, in the Coachella Valley right now, right? That was one of the new things. And we're like, Coachella Valley, like all the houses are so far apart. How do you work in an area like that? He's built up his profile in such a huge way. All of the instructors for this Ignite Spark, Ignite 2.0, are absolutely phenomenal standout instructors, right? I'm so excited that we're able to offer this for you guys. So don't think that Ignite was not designed for the brand new agent, right? Ignite is designed to be a foundational training, That's what Ignite is for, right? That's what Ignite is for. It's a foundational training, right? And what we know we all need is to get back to the basics, right? To get back to the basics. When we talk about the millionaire real estate, right? When we look at the triangle, it's about systems before creativity, right? We like to get creative. That's just human nature, right? Human nature, we like to run unique practices instead of best practices. That's not the way that it works, right? In order for us to be extremely successful, we have to run best practices. And once we've mastered that, we can add a little bit of the creativity on top, right? And we can customize it. Where we get creative is our logos and things like that, not in the systems that we run, right? Not in the systems that we run. We have to run the business like a system, right? We want to run the business like a business, right? It's like a business. I love Claudia says, he says, fall out of love with motivation and fall in love with discipline. I love that, right? So the reason that I wanted to make sure we go over this is because it is going to change up our schedule a little bit, right? Now, all of a sudden, we've got Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's Ignite, right? And so Ignite, and then there's also Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that is our new, the new agent roadmap growth systems. This is the thing. Keller Williams, when it comes to our education, sometimes it can feel like drinking from a fire hose, right? So we are going to be splitting the schedule a little bit. If you are just getting started, right? If you're like, I need to, really work on my skill set so I know what to say, feel comfortable with the what to say, right? And I need to get to a place where I'm being held accountable to my daily lead gen, and I need that coach to hold me accountable to my goals, and I don't have my listing presentation, and I've never done a listing presentation, I've never done a buyer's consultation before, then productivity coaching. Okay, the Monday through Thursday real play. If you're part-time, the part-time program, right? The part-time program. Don't worry about everything else. Don't worry about trying to catch up to all the videos, because it's, in all honesty, with the hours and hours of training that comes out, it's not usually possible to catch up and watch everything, right? So you have to find the ones that are most important. So if you're part-time, the part-time program, right? If you're brand new, the productivity program is probably going to be the best bet. If you are more experienced and it's, hey, let me get to the foundation again, Ignite, right? Ignite. But it also means that my 9 a.m. classes are going to change a little bit, because now we have classes that start at 9 a.m., right? Multiple days a week. So I will finalize that today, and I will make sure that we get you an updated calendar for next week sent out earlier this week. It won't be on Monday, right? It's going to be sent out earlier so you have time to look at it. I promise you the weekly market update is not going away, right? Weekly market update is not going away. And we're going to look at some of the other classes that we're doing and figure out which ones are the most important right now that we can fit in. So some of them might be changing a little bit, but we want to make sure that you still have access to contracts courses, because that's very important, right? We need to make sure that those are on the calendar, especially with all the updates and the new residential purchase agreement that's coming out by the end of the year, right? So we want to make sure that those things are on the calendar for you. Weekly market update, we know knowing what's going on in the market is extremely important. And then we may look at maybe doing a longer weekly class or some other item to make sure that we're also getting you everything else. But we know you need time to prospect too, right? And actually do the business. So we want to make sure that the calendar and the schedule is going to be manageable for you with everything that's on the calendar this month. Fair? Awesome. If you guys have questions, you want to know more about the PC program, you want to know more about Ignite, you want to know more about any of those things, please, please, please call me, right? Call me. With Ignite, you're going to want to register in advance. It's going to go 9 to noon, right? It's going to go 9 to noon on the days of Ignite. We will post the flyer in the hub, right? We're going to post a bunch of stuff in the hub for you guys with the links and everything as well. You will have to register. Right, you will have to register for those. So a lot of stuff on the calendar. We're really excited though, because here's the thing, is this is about getting you prepped so that you go into Q1 like dynamite, right? It's building momentum so that 2021 is an absolutely phenomenal year, because we know that the markets of the moment are coming, And we want to make sure that you're prepped for those floodgates because they're going to look a little different than they did, right? They're going to look a little different than they did, which means we need to make sure that we are committed to mastery, right? We're committed to mastery of our skills and make those calls, database calls, right? For the holidays. Be the first person on somebody's mind during the holidays right now. With that, I hope you guys have an absolutely phenomenal Friday. I'll stay on for a couple of minutes if there's any questions, right? If there's any questions, because I know that was a lot.
Monica, I do have
Thank you,
a
Monica.
question, but I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to call you later. What is a good time to give you a call just for a couple of questions?
Let me double check. I'd say after 10:30, before 1.
Okay, so I'll give you a call because I do have some questions. And I appreciate that you brought Ford again because I do make my phone calls and I tend to forget the Ford, initials to bring everything in the conversation. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Ford is really powerful. I will say this. I have Easter eggs kind of hidden in my office, right? And so Ford is one of them. The other thing that I have, if you've ever been in here, like over my desk, I have a little sign that says wait. And it stands for when we're in more of a consultation mode, right? You want people to self-discover through questions, right? That's different from presenter mode, but in a consultation, you want to help people self-discover through questions. So wait stands for why am I talking? Right? It's the why am I talking? And so I have those little things because they're reminders, right? Sometimes having a mirror in front of your prospecting area so you remember to smile.
Right.
Is another good one. So and even like I have my scripts and my 401 right next to me, right? All of those little things are the items that help us to remember. But Ford is huge. We have to build that rapport because people don't care how much we know until they know how much we care. And I know we say that a lot and it sounds like, just an old saying, but it's so important, especially with our clients, right? And the people that are in our network. We have to have that true relationship and we have to get out of the idea that just because somebody's in our database means we're going to convert them. If we haven't built that relationship, it's almost like we're lead generating them all over for the first time.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Other questions as we wrap up?
No, I think I'm good, but I'm going to give you a call. Thank you.
Okay. Sounds good, my friend. Awesome, guys. Well, then I will pop us off. Have a good one. Keep an eye on those updates. Bye, everyone. Have a great morning.
Bye, you too.